We learned plenty during spring ball, the main takeaways. I mean, I'll start with this. I do think they've got an offense that seems assembled at this point that could have a chance to put up some of the biggest numbers we've seen by far under Matt Rule.
Okay, we're always keep it real. I agree with you only to a point. I think the passing numbers.
Yards and points.
Yeah, I think that I'm convinced that this is going to be that they're going to throw the ball really well. I'm unconvinced about the run game.
They were a 51 to 49 run pass ratio a year ago. Where do you envision that ratio this year?
A little more pass oriented.
So you think it could be more like 55-45?
Yeah, something like that.
52-48?
I mean, I think you only really have okay, I don't like to talk. Quentin Ives is just unproven as a backup running back. He's 6 carries, 7 yards. That's all I got to say. I don't feel like I need to be apologetic about it. He's unproven. They have Emmett Johnson, but how hard can you lean on him? We all know how physical the Big Ten gets, and you're playing Michigan and Michigan State right out of the gate, right? Michigan State is not projected to finish high in the Big Ten, but I will tell you when Michigan State comes into the stadium, you'll say, look at their linemen. I guarantee you'll say, look at the linemen.
Yeah, the reality is just look at the draft. I mean, how many draft picks did Maryland have?
6.
And, if you're kind of a traditionalist Nebraska fan, you always kind of just hold your nose up against a team like Maryland.
Not now.
Nebraska hasn't had 6 draft picks since 2011.
Yeah, there you go.
And
there you go.
That's what you're facing in this league.
Right. Michigan State, I've just covered the league. Sean, I'm 58 years old. I've watched college football for 50 years. You don't see Michigan State with little linemen.
No, these are well-heeled programs with well-trained and well-fed players.
Right. I mean, they're going to come in here, and when they come out of the tunnel, you're going to say, oh, God. Aiden Childs, their quarterback, not the greatest, a little erratic, but they'll be strong up front. So what I'm saying is, but I have a lot. I'm going to tell you something. I have a lot of confidence in Dylan, a lot. And I have a lot of confidence in that receiver core. Ja'Cory Barney, I have a lot of confidence in Ja'Cory Barney.
O-line,
a lot of confidence.
Pritchett.
Yeah. I mean, I was really impressed with Elijah Pritchett on Saturday. His first interviews with us, engaged. He's going to be the left tackle. They would not put him in front of that many media if he wasn't the left tackle. And I liked what I heard from him. We talked to Henry Letofsky. Letofsky's he's a very good Big Ten lineman.
Maybe the right tackle?
Could be the right tackle, yeah. So, I like what Donovan Raiola's doing. There's Pritchett right there. I like what Donovan Raiola's doing up front, and they have some depth now. They could. One of the big stories, if we're talking about what we learned during spring ball, Sean, I think the biggest story. Correct me if I'm wrong. Justin Evans taking over the starting center job.
Making it kind of a no-doubter.
That's it. That's why it's the biggest story in my mind. The most important development, we'll say, was Justin Evans nailing down the center job.
Yeah, let's call it what it is right now.
It's over.
4 starters are probably locked in right now. Pritchett, Spindler, Evans, Letofsky.
Yep.
May the best man win to be the 5th starter.
Right.
That's probably
See
how
what it looks like.
And to go coach speak. That's probably what it's going to be.
And you know what? I like that. I like that 4 right there.
Get old, stay old, as they once said in the Big Ten. Now the defense.
More questions.
I just think I like the back 7 though. I know the secondary didn't have a great year, but I think there's a lot there.
Uh-huh.
I think the linebacker. I think the second level is the strongest part of the defense.
But it's so dependent on the front being good because we've seen it in Nebraska. We saw it. You've referenced Corey McEwen before. Do you remember what Corey McEwen said? He had a big year one year, then the next year he was having trouble. Why? Because linemen were getting on him. I think he was saying it was 1.5 seconds when they were really going good. Then it got down to 0.5, and they were on him. I don't know. Those numbers are loose numbers, but what I'm trying to convey here is that there were offensive linemen getting on him way too fast, and
we don't have time to look.
Yeah, and it was clear. You could see it from the press box. So how do they hold up front without without Ty Robinson, without Nash Upmaker, without Jamari Butler? How do they hold up? I don't know. I have no idea. Now, it could be better for all I know.
Well,
I'd be surprised if it's better, but it could be, right?
And those were good players.
Really good.
The reality still, though, was this team only had 2 draft picks last year. Now that we know that. So, we tend to obviously give the veterans and the starters a lot of praise here, but the NFL data doesn't lie. So can you replace guys that weren't drafted? You would hope so.
Yeah.
And those were old advanced players.
But Nash was close to draft.
I know, but that's been Nebraska football in a nutshell.
Yeah, it was. And let's swing it the other way. Ty Robinson was selected in the 4th round, 111th pick, but that was he was the Eagles only drafted in the 4th. They got it. They were going to get him in the 3rd round, but they had some trades that pushed back their number a little bit. He was a 3rd round pick is what I'm saying. Ty.
And to put Ty in perspective, he played in the bowl game, which a lot of people were like, oh, maybe he won't, maybe he will. Well, the 2 guys from Boston College that chose not to play, they were both 2nd rounders.
Oh God, really? I didn't see that.
The pass rusher and the right tackle.
Is that right? They were both 2nd rounders. Oh, there you go.
I mean, the NFL, those guys, obviously they know.
Sean, I do like Nebraska's back 7. I'm not sure I agree with you that the linebacking core is the strength. And I know people probably get confused when we keep talking about the secondary being a strength because it struggled last year. But it's going to look a little different now, right? They're going to Buford, for instance, probably a safety.
Singleton's first full offseason he's had healthy.
Yeah, Buford a safety, Singleton healthy, Hartzog probably a safety, Sierra Wright now is settled in as a starting corner, whereas he got here in July last year. Took him a little bit. And then the other corner we don't know, but there's a lot of competition.
Mary Sanders, maybe Andrew Marshall.
Yeah, and I like the way those guys look. We shouldn't forget about Marquise Buford's brother either.
Donovan Jones.
Yeah. Who Marquise Buford's brother? Help
Mario.
I watched Mario just jacking around on the field the other day. He's really athletic. We forget about guys like Bly Hill. Sean, the value of that day to me was seeing guys like Bly Hill up close. That's a 6'4" corner. I mean, that is a good looking corner.
And his dad was a 10-year NFL vet.
If Bly Hill can get healthy, he's going to help.
The genetics and he's got it.
Is he healthy?
Yes,
he
was healthy late last year.
He looked healthy to me. They were throwing the ball. The corners were throwing, and the safeties were throwing the ball around on the field and catching it one-handed. And there is a lot of athleticism on that team. I mean, I was watching Hartzog and the younger Buford and Bly Hill, Sierra Wright, a couple other guys, and I'm just like, man. And the other thing I want to say is I'm a huge Hartzog fan. He takes so much heat in his fan base. I bet he's a starter at safety. That kid is extremely athletic.
He's got a little, Courtney Grigsby was that way.
Yeah.
He was the small corner. Teams picked on him. And so
would he be better off at safety?
No, I'm just saying like Courtney Grigsby, when he was here, was like a Hartzog. Like the fans kind of picked on him as the problem at times because everybody went at him.
Oh, I get it.
And that's what they do to Hartzog. They see the smaller corner. They match him up with tight ends. Like USC matched that guy up on him the whole game. Remember this last year?
Oh, of course. And I know he was vulnerable at times, but would it help to have him at safety a little bit?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't think I think they've got enough now that the corner spots are set where they don't need him at corner.
Right. But I still, they have so much respect for him in the program. And I hope people understand that. And that's kind of partly where I'm coming from. He gets a lot of respect in the program. So I don't know. I think that the linebackers, you're talking about Vincent Shavers, you're talking about Javen Wright, you're talking about Marquise Watson Trent. They're very athletic. And I saw Marquise Watson Trent, and we've wondered about his size a little bit. He's fine. I stood right next to Marquise
McGahee, Desan McCullough.
Those are dudes now. I mean, I get where you're
Gage
coming
Stenger.
from. Yeah, I get where you're coming from when you just talk from a pure athleticism standpoint. That is a good-looking group. And I want to emphasize Marquise Watson Trent, he's probably 5'10", which is a little small. But just in terms of strength and build, he's a linebacker. He's a pure linebacker.
I was talking to somebody within the program Saturday, and they were like, it's funny, when Tony brought they had that Stephon Bradford.
Right.
You know, he was kind of supposed to be a
Yeah,
guy
man, from Syracuse,
but he just couldn't play at the high level needed. Just didn't work. And he went over to Florida State with Honey. And they're like, yeah, Watson Trent is built like him, you know, which means he didn't have a great frame or body, but totally different, like in terms of his instincts and the way he plays the game.
I get where you're coming from. That back seven, that's probably the strength, but I'd prefer the strength.
Linebacker is a position though where you can be fooled by measurables.
Yeah.
Like some of the greatest linebackers in this program's history weren't very big.
Right. You can say that in the NFL too.
Levante David. I mean, he's going to be one of the 5 leading tacklers or 10 leading tacklers in NFL history at like 6'1".
Yep. Oh, was he even 6 foot? Levante was he even 6 foot?
I mean, he was small.
Yeah, I was going to say 5'11". I'd have to look at what he was listed.